At the Ahsoka panel at Star Wars Celebration 2016, there were laughs, tears, and all-around great information learned about Ahsoka. But towards the end, Dave Filoni let a little bit slip about the fate of Ahsoka Tano, saying, "It just might be possible. It doesn't necessarily mean what some of us would hope it means, but it might be possible to see her again. She might have something to do." We can pick apart this quote all we want, but this hesitant nature and constantly keeping fans on our toes, we have to explore the many possibilities as to what he means. First, let's remember that originally, Filoni wasn't going to bring Ahsoka back in Season 3. He stated as such when he was interviewed by IGN when the Season 2 final aired, and around that time Season 3 was already in production. Now, if the fans were able to sway him by that information alone, we can assume that if Ahsoka were to appear in Season 3, she would not appear until closer to the Season 3 final. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the main question we all have on our minds. If she is going to make an appearance, is Ahsoka alive? Now, a few months ago, I made a Star Wars theory video on the Fate of Ahsoka. The positive feedback on that video has been great, and I want to thank everyone for their kind words. It has hit over 6,000 views, and that is amazing to me. The next section of this video is going to continue off that theory, so if you haven't seen that theory video, I highly implore you to click here and check it out. If not, it's fine, I'll give a quick summary. Through the video, I explained with evidence from both behind-the-scenes concept art as well as Dave Filoni's own interview that Ahsoka is connected in some way to the daughter from the Clone Wars television show, who was the manifestation of the light side of the Force. She was killed and gave the last of her life force to Ahsoka. I believe she is connected because of the converie who is constantly following Ahsoka throughout both the Clone Wars and Rebels. There, now that we are up to speed, let's begin. At the Ahsoka panel, Dave also revealed 10 Ahsoka cards for the Star Wars Trading card app. That, as he says, there are clues to the fate of Ahsoka, and we know this because Filoni says, "It's just try to understand the metaphors and symbolism and the meaning of this journey," and it's a very classic journey. So let's look at each one of these cards and try to figure out this journey Ahsoka endures. The first image to me is Ahsoka standing her ground against Darth Vader. Her lightsabers are in the form of a triangle, a popular theme as the last we see Ahsoka is through a triangle-shaped entrance. The second image is of Vader and his cracked mask, which he got from Ahsoka attacking him. In his mask we see not his eye, but an image of Ahsoka ascending stairs surrounded by white. Some people have thought it was Ahsoka walking away from Anakin back at the temple, but the design of Ahsoka, as well as the fact that she is ascending rather than descending, seems to disprove that. But if we look at it perhaps as a contrast between Anakin and Ahsoka, perhaps this image makes more sense. Ahsoka is the light ascending while Vader is in the dark, and the placement of Ahsoka within Vader perhaps hints to Vader's inner light and how it connects to Ahsoka. Again, just speculation. Then we have a clear image of Ahsoka and Vader looming in the background almost like a shadow. Perhaps that's a shadow of Vader that Ahsoka can never escape. Then we have an image of Vader after the fight. Not much here to comment on except this is the last image of Vader as all we know is he survived the event. The next one is great to me because it just disposes the theory that on the last shot we see of Ahsoka she is collapsing to the ground. This clearly shows that she is descending into darkness and into the Underworld. It's here I would like to address a section of my last video where I stated Ahsoka was going into the underground of where Maul and Ezra originally began. Instead, Ahsoka ends up in an area that may resemble the underground slightly. The pillars are noticeably thinner and clearly there's no water where Maul and Ezra were before heading up the stairs. Rather than saying this disproves my thought as to where this leads, I think Ahsoka is actually entering what Filoni calls the Underworld. As he says in the panel, what does this journey into the Underworld mean? The white laid out before her is clearly a small river, and Ahsoka's guide through all of this is in the far back, the white converie. In the next card, you can see Ahsoka going through the water. It's here that I want to talk about journeys into the Underworld and rivers in the Underworld. Let's look upon what Joseph Campbell, one of George Lucas's big inspirations when it comes to myth, story, and belief, has to say about the journey to the Underworld. In his book, A Hero of a Thousand Faces, a book on the hero's journey, the journey that is made by every hero of every story known to man, yes, even that of Star Wars, in the chapter The Road of Trials, he states, "The voyage of the Underworld is but one of innumerable such adventures undertaken by the heroes of faith, tale, and of myth. This is very much akin to Luke's trial in the Dagobah scene. The delving into the Underworld is looking within the darkest realms of yourself. The term katabasis, I hope I'm saying that right, is the Greek word for delving into the underworld. And usually in myth there is an obstacle to pass while in the underworld, whether guardian or a river. In the next card, we see highlighted the owl, whom I still presume is the daughter in a lesser form. She clearly represents the guide, just as Virgil is Dante's guide in the poem Dante's Inferno, another example of katabasis. The next card is that of Ahsoka going up some stairs. What's interesting about these stairs is that they are white. Color has clearly been an important part of the meaning behind these cards, but I feel here it is the most important. The white stairs could perhaps lead to salvation for the character, transcending into a higher being perhaps. The white of the stairs might connect to the white of the owl, so many possibilities. And then the final card, Ahsoka reaching the top wherever her destination is. She is encompassed in a circle, and around that circle is the symbol of wolves in motion. First, the image of a circle is that of wholeness, perfection, and eternity. The image of a wolf is that of freedom, balance, and harmony. We know Filoni loves wolves, and we have seen art of giant wolves in the Lothal Jedi Temple in Rebels, as well as we know giant wolves would have saved Ahsoka when they came for her in Order 66, as evident by the Ahsoka panel. And there it is. This is my deconstruction of these cards. To me, these cards tell a story of Ahsoka's resurrection, not literally but figuratively, and her ascension to the representation of the light side of the Force, becoming one with the daughter in a way. But how do you interpret this? Leave a comment on your thoughts down below, and before I sign off, I leave you with this Joseph Campbell quote from the same chapter as earlier. If anyone undertakes for himself the perilous journey into the darkness by descending, either intentionally or unintentionally, into the crooked lanes of his own spiritual labyrinth, he soon finds himself in a landscape of symbolical figures. This is the process of dissolving, transcending, transmuting the infantile images of our personal past. In our dreams of ageless perils, gargoyles, trials, secret helpers, and instructive figures are nightly still encountered. And in their forms we may see reflected not only the whole picture of our present case, but also the clue to what we must do to be saved. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is The Negotiator, signing off.